Over the past week, the national polling difference between Trump and Biden has narrowed down, with Trump leading Biden with just 1%. However, we cannot rely only on these votes and pollings because the election is decided by the Electoral College, not by the national votes. This means only polls that will matter are those who are conducted in individual states. So we need to have a look at each state to see where the election stands, but before we can move forward, do comment below the name of the candidate you are supporting. Looking at current polls, I would say Trump has more chances. We will first look at the states that are solidly Democratic, starting Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, Colorado, Illinois, New York, Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maryland, and District of Columbia. It looks like there are fewer states but more electoral votes as it takes Biden to 190 votes. Now we will look at the states that are solidly Trump. Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, majority of Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Alaska, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska at large, and the 2nd District of Maine are all solidly Republican. Chances of Trump taking confirmed lead in these states are almost sure. This takes Trump to 199 electoral votes, which is a very good start for Trump. Now, only 14 states and 149 electoral votes are left. Let's go deeper and see which state look inclined towards which candidate. First, look at the report published by the New York Times. According to New York Times, Trump leads in 5 key states, as young and non-white voters express discontent with Biden. The Philadelphia Inquirer-Siena College poll asked people the question, if the 2024 presidential election were held today, who would you vote for if the candidates were Joe Biden and Donald Trump? People in 5 major states showed their interest in Trump. In Pennsylvania, 47% of people voted in Trump's favor. In 2020, Biden was able to defeat Trump by 1.17% votes. In 2016, Trump won it. It seems Trump will win back his state again. If Trump wins here, he may be able to get a significant lead in the national elections. According to the Cook Political or GS Strategy survey, Trump has 3% points here. In Arizona, Michigan, and Georgia, Trump led with 49% of votes while Biden received only 42, and 39% votes. This can make these states the likely Trump states. Nevada has the biggest gap in percentage, where Trump received 50%, while Biden received only 38%. When you look at polls in Nevada, Trump takes a lead of 8, tilting this state towards Republicans. In 2020, Biden carried Nevada by 2.39%, which was a slightly smaller margin than Hillary Clinton's 2.42%. This now looks like totally Trump's state. Moving to North Carolina, Trump has a lead of 6.5 points. In 2020, Trump won the state by 1.34% margin over Biden, making him only the 2nd Republican incumbent over to carry North Carolina and lose re-election after George H.W. Bush. Currently, in almost all surveys, Trump is showing a lead. According to the most recent survey by Morning Consult from May 8th to May 12th, Trump is leading Biden by 7 points. 704 registered voters participated in that survey. While according to recent survey from May 13th to May 18th, Change Research conducted among 835 likely voters, Trump shows a lead of 3 points while Kennedy looks like getting some votes from Biden. So this state shows a likely Republican state pattern. Next we have Virginia, where Biden shows single-digit positive points. In 2020, Biden won Virginia with 54% of the vote, and by a margin of 10.2%, which was the best performance for a Democratic presidential candidate since Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1944. The recent survey by McLaughlin and Associates Biden shows 4 points in a survey held among 800 likely voters. Kennedy also looks promising with 8% of the votes, which actually takes some points from Biden, making Biden's position a little weak. So this makes it a lean Democratic state. Now, Wisconsin is an interesting state at the moment. In 2020, Biden took back the state from Trump by just a 0.63% narrow margin. It was a far closer margin than expected. Trump had won this state in 2016, and he was the first Republican to win that state since 1984. But now the polls once again show a trend in favor of Trump. In the 7 most recent polls, Trump took the lead in 3 of them, while Biden took the lead in only one. The rest of the three remained even. It shows a minor tilt towards Trump can once again upset the elections, and it may likely turn into a Republican state. Moving towards New Hampshire, the state that Biden won by a good margin of 52.9% votes, leaving Trump behind by around 7%. The polls show Biden the strong candidate one more time. Latest polls with 1,041 likely voters conducted by University of New Hampshire Survey Center. Biden is ahead with 4 and 3 points. This makes New Hampshire a likely Democratic state once again. In 2020, Trump won the state of Iowa with 53.1% votes. It was already expected as most polls showed Trump in the leading position. Similarly, this time again, Trump is leading almost all the polls in Iowa. As per the John Zogby strategies, Kennedy leads the state with 6 points, but when we check a poll by Selzer and Company conducted on 5 March 2024, Trump is way ahead of Biden and Kennedy. This makes Iowa an even state between Kennedy and Trump. Maine at large seems to make things hard for Biden this time. Kennedy is leading 2 surveys with 6 and 18 points respectively, so this state can remain even. There is not a lot of data about Nebraska's 2nd district, but looking at the historical data, we can make it a lean toward Democrats. Now we have 2 states left, Florida and New Mexico. Historically, both are significant. In 2020, Trump won in Florida by a 3.4-point margin. He improved on his margin from 2016, when he beat Hillary Clinton by 1.2 points. When we look at current surveys, Trump looks way ahead of Biden. Trump has 46% while Biden has 35.2% votes, with Kennedy taking 8.6%. There were 7 surveys conducted in May. Trump is leading in almost all of them with 9+ points. The latest survey by YouGov with data size of 1,174 likely voters gives Trump the lead of 13 points, so Republicans are likely to take that state from Biden again. New Mexico does not have enough data to read, but in 2020, Biden won by a good margin of 10.79%. There are high chances of repeating in history again. Overall, Trump is likely to get 308 votes victory over Biden.